What's up, everybody? Welcome to episode 17 of the Frozen Road Podcast. I am your host, John Hunter. This is my newly appointed co-host, Danny, the Pitchman Hart. Danny, what is up, buddy?
What's up, brother? Thanks for having me. I'm happy to. This is going to be a full-time thing now. Unfortunately, haven't made it out of Jeff Bezos's basement yet, but we're working on it. Yeah.
You're doing everything's going well. You know, you're finally moving out.
Yep.
For anybody who doesn't know, Danny has had probably the craziest week of all time. We talked about it last night on our other podcast that we have, the Diamond Club, which is just a Phillies podcast. So we talked about it last night, and Dan, I mean, if anyone who didn't know, I mean, he has dealt with his lunchbox / tools getting stolen. Then what was in the lunchbox and all was his car keys. His then car gets stolen right after that. It has just been and all in this. He's also moving next week, so
yeah, it's been eventful to say the least.
Unbelievable, dude. I mean, I just don't know how that even. I don't know how I would deal with all that at the same going on. That's just God bless you.
Yeah, it is what it is. Well, we'll get through it.
But I mean, you've had a lot of baseball to think about. You know, you try to take your mind off of some things. There's been a lot going on, as we say, pretty much every week. That is pretty much the headline of this show anymore.
Yeah.
A lot going on because we have seen a lot of things. I think things we'll touch on tonight will be the A's have been actively talking about being on the move for the first time in a while. We haven't really seen any traction on what's going on until probably this year is like the first time we've actually heard them actually say like we're going to actively start looking.
Yeah, I mean, I don't blame them. Oakland really hasn't given them a chance to do what they want with a new stadium. They haven't given them the opportunities. So, like, what the hell's there really is no other choice but to explore the other options.
Absolutely. I mean, what else are you going to do? And then we have Pujols lands with the Dodgers. He's in Dodger blue now. Manny Machado, fucking dick, back at it again with more dickhead shit. Trout's out 2 months. We'll talk about that. I mean, and again, we'll have another conversation of what that type of shit means for baseball. That is a devastating loss for them.
Yes, it is.
And a topic that we will definitely be on for a while is the Tony LaRussa and his dinosaur baseball mindset as of recent, which has just been fucking brutal to listen to him even speak.
It's embarrassing.
But what I figured we start this show off with today is the 6 no-hitters at this point in the season. We had 2 already this week. And what's kind of crazy to me is like the people who are doing it.
Yeah, I mean, for the most part, Musgrove's playing great. He's pitching great. Kluber's been really good the last couple of starts, but then other than that, it's pretty much just veterans that haven't. Rodon had a really good stretch, but for the most part, it's been like just veterans who've been around the league. Most of them aren't overpowering. They don't throw hard really, and it just shows you what state we're in as in baseball right now with the hitters.
And I think that's what when we talk about it, that's what I keep going back to is people don't realize why this is really going on. And you know, I'm not going to sit here and say I know exactly why it's happening, but I mean, I have definite ideas on why it's happening. And my main reason that I've brought up a couple times has been the hitter's approach has definitely changed. So they're not really aiming to the strikeout rate is up right now. It's at like 23% for everybody.
That's crazy.
I think that's what I read the other day, that's where we're at as far as all of baseball, which is pretty fucking
mind blowing.
That's a big number.
Yeah, 1 in every 4 at bats, the league is striking out. Like that's ridiculous.
Yeah, I literally just had it pulled up. Yeah, where's it at? Yeah, 23.4% of baseball. That's the average right now. Is K, and the walk rate is at 9.1.
Yeah, it's almost 3 to 1 in league wide. Like it's crazy to think about.
And then they also have. I mean, this is when I did this. When I took this screenshot, it was Tuesday, and as of Tuesday, they had 1,377 home runs, and they have and the strikeout rate at 23.4%. The average is 240 right now. On base percentage is 317.
317. That's terrible. Like average is one thing, but
dude, the slugging percentage is 400. So that just goes to show what people are doing. People are hitting home runs. So when your approach at the plate is strictly home runs, that's what's going to happen. You're going to see a lot of no hitters because pitchers are not dumb, and their approach is different. Their approach is different now. They're throwing much harder than they ever did. Like almost everyone on the team, I feel like everyone throws 95 now at least. Like 95 is almost slow at this point.
Yeah, every team has a couple guys that hit triple digits, which used to not like there would be a handful of people in the league. Now it's like if you don't have at least two of them, your bullpen's like subpar compared to the rest of the bullpens in the league. And not to mention the starters. You have 10 plus starters that are hitting triple digits on like occasion now. Like that's ridiculous.
Of course,
it's not how it used to be. And not to mention the ball movement is different too. It's not like the league has adapted just fastball. Like I think fastball percentage is down throughout the league, and everyone's secondary pitches are ridiculous now. Like it's just.
And what's crazy is even with the fastball's movement is insane now. So you're getting 100 miles per hour and the ball is moving. How the fuck do you hit that?
You don't, and that's why.
No, you don't.
Yeah, that's why strikeout rate's 23%.
And like that's wild.
Yeah, like we've talked about, like we're looking at people like when we did our all-star predictions and stuff like that. Like we were like, oh man, like this dude's numbers are great, but his strikeout percentage is 22%.
Yeah,
like that was like a common theme. Like, but then you look at everybody's, and it's like that's better than average right now. Like if you have a 20% K rate, you're doing pretty well. Like compared to the league average.
Like 20% at this point is what it is. Like 20, like
better than average.
Yeah, you're looking at a 3%, advantage right now. Like that crazy. That's ridiculous. Like you're 3% better than the average right now with a 20% K rate. That shouldn't be.
1 in 5 at bats you strike out and you're doing better than the league. Like that's it's ridiculous to think about.
Like I don't see how that is. Like that's just I don't see how that's sustainable as like the league wide. I don't see how that how people are going to continuously do that. Like and that just be okay. Like you're going to have to change something. You're going to have to we're going to have to go back to finding slap hitters or something and I mean it's not like there's been 6 no-hitters and there's been 6 different teams. There has been 6 no-hitters and 3 different teams. Yeah, it's just been 3 the 3 teams have been no-hit twice. Like that's insane.
Is it the Indians, Texas,
and Seattle?
Seattle,
and Seattle has been no hit twice at home.
Yeah, it's crazy.
And I also saw a weird thing. Jason Tatum has
50 point game on 2 different no hitter nights.
On 2, and he's only He's got 3 50-point games, and 2 of them there's been a no hitter on them.
Yeah, so weird.
There's a little basketball stat for you during the baseball podcast.
Cross sport trivia for you.
but yeah, I mean it shouldn't get taken away from the pitcher either, because I know that people are going to try to take it away from the pitcher.
Yeah.
But I mean, you got a guy like Corey Kluber who went out last night and just absolutely dominated. But what do you it's I don't know. I don't want to take anything away from them.
Yeah,
but because I know we're saying approach is a definite big reason, and we're gonna be like, oh well, they won't be able to do that. He pitched well. He pitched very, very good. And
I think he had 1 walk, so 28 batters. I think there was 4 hard hit balls against them. So that's a great game. That's a great game. Any way you put it. So
yeah. So even in the world of analytics and the world of hard hit rate and stuff like that, it still ended up being a very, very good start because there wasn't many hard hit balls.
Yeah, he controlled the game.
Yeah, exactly. And then it's just I don't know. I mean, after Wade Miley threw the no hitter, I kind of really was just like, all right, maybe I'm not as interested in no hitters as I used to be. It was
something's up.
Yeah, and it's crazy because I was happy to see Corey Kluber. I like Corey Kluber, and I enjoy to see him not hurt. So when he isn't hurt, he's a very, very dominant pitcher. He's got 2 Cy Youngs for a reason. Like he's one of the best pitchers in the last 10 years. He's been a very, very good, positive part of baseball. So it was good to see him nail where he's being for the last couple of years he's been pegged as an injury-prone pitcher.
Yeah, he washed up. Yeah,
and he's been pitching extremely well though. His last 4 starts for the Yankees have been really good.
He's been pitching, really well. And now, I think we talked about it last week, like with Garrett Cole's situation. Like we both hate the Yankees. Like, look, you either love them or hate them. There's really no in between. And Corey Kluber's pitching well for them, and that's good for baseball. Like,
when was the last I didn't see. When was the last Yankees no hitter?
I think it was in '99.
David Cone.
I think it was Cone's perfect game. Yeah.
Was that what? Or David Wells? I know David Wells.
It was Wells. I think it was Cone. I think Wells might have been 96 and Cone was 99, or vice versa. It was them two were the last two.
Okay. Well, that's impressive.
So 22 years.
It's been a long time since that happened. I mean,
yeah.
Kudos to us for actually remembering them to throw no hitters.
Years and all. Yeah, that's weird. But I think a lot to do with it is like what you preach from minor leagues on now is like the launch angle, everything like that. Yeah. Like the analytics go so far, and especially with like even the shifts and everything. Like every player, doesn't matter if you have 5 at bats in the major leagues, you have a scouting report. You know where you're going to put these defenders.
100%.
And I mean, if you want to, the defense, like they don't care. If you want to beat us, you're going to have to beat us to left field or vice versa. And players typically don't change their approach, so they're just playing right into the hands of the defense.
And I think that's definitely where I think the only player I really ever see change his 2-strike approach is Bryce Harper.
Yeah, he has no stride.
I don't see many guys.
Mercedes does now.
Does he?
Yeah, his is ridiculous too. He has no stride whatsoever. He has the big leg kick and then 2 strikes. Like he had a ball the other day. They had a rally in the 9th inning to come back and win, and it was like up at his chin.
And Tony LaRussa probably hated it.
Yeah, he definitely did. He's like, "Oh, what are you swinging 2 strikes over your head? Thank you for the game time single." But
so I follow a lot of guys on Twitter who are guys who are like big guys on what do they call that, like DFS and like FanDuel and stuff like that. So like I used to play a lot back in the day. So like when I watch, like I saw this one dude who during I forget whose no hitter it was. It said like how dare he swing. How dare he swing on an 0-2 count to end the no hitter?
Yeah, like, that was yesterday's. Yeah,
it's great, dude. But that's where we're at. We're like people are actually getting annoyed that that's happening.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. So like, I don't know. I'm just so tired of the people bashing new school baseball. Like, but again, it's exactly why there's no hitters right now, is because of new school baseball. There's no contact hitters really anymore. Like Nick Madrigal is probably the only like true contact hitter I know in baseball right now. Like guy who just doesn't give a shit about he just tries to get on base.
Yeah, I think his strikeout rate's like 5%, maybe lower than that at this point.
I'm not shocked because that's what he does. Like he just puts the ball in play. But like they're the teams that you're not going to see get no hit because guys like him are going to try to break that up. Like I know another golden, old school rule in baseball is
don't try bunting to break up a no hitter.
Exactly. Don't try to bunt to break up a no hitter, which is fucking stupid as well.
Especially when it's like a 2-run game. Like it's so ridiculous that's like something that's so like gets the dinosaurs in baseball butthurt. Like why? Like how are you going to be upset about that? Person's trying to get on base to give their next guy a chance to hit a 2-run homer to tie it.
The unwritten rules in baseball are so stupid. Anyway.
Yes, why they're not written down.
Yeah, which is why they're unwritten. Exactly. Yeah. Like nobody stop trying to make things like that happen. Like no one gives a shit if I know I don't care if someone bunts to break it up a no hitter. Oh. Like I'm sorry that I offended you and I wanted to try to get my team rallied because we've been getting dominated all day.
Exactly.
But like it's crazy to me that like there's actually guys like Tony LaRussa who you know what, we'll just go right into Tony LaRussa because there's guys like Tony LaRussa who will believe that he'd rather see his team get no hit than break that up and try to get his team to start going again.
Yep, which is just so ridiculous to think about as a manager's perspective. Like you'd rather not benefit your team for the baseball gods to look over you.
Like you are, and like, and maybe this is him trying to get right with the baseball gods because of the fact that he was
300.
and he was literally fucking a big force in being okay with steroid use back in the late 80s and late 90s, but like where he was the coach, where he was the manager of probably the biggest steroid users of all time, and Jose Canseco and
100%.
And Mark McGuire,
yo, Bash Brothers. Like, all right,
yeah, like you manage that, so like you're gonna sit here and talk about how some things disrespect the game, like, and I'm not somebody who hates steroids. I'm somebody who believes steroids save baseball. But like, do. I don't want Tony LaRussa thinking that means that I'm saying that he saved baseball.
Because, and then now he's above the world and he gets to decide what the rules should be.
Like, fuck you, dude. Like, and that's my biggest issue with him is that he always has that like persona that he believes that he invented baseball. Yeah. He has thought that for as long as I can remember. Like, I remember when he would put the pitcher in the 8th spot, and he was like,
"You reinvented the wheel."
I'm so smart. Like, no, you're not that smart. Like, don't get me wrong. I've done that a couple of times in certain games, in video games.
Well, yeah.
Like,
I mean,
and it's not a bad move.
No, it's not. But yeah.
But I'm not going to sit here and tell you Tony LaRussa is a fucking genius.
It doesn't make you untouchable.
No. And so anyone who doesn't know, Mercedes, what is it? Yerman Mercedes, Yerman, whatever the fuck you want to call him, Yerman Mercedes hit a home run on a 3-0 count in a blowout. I believe it was 15-5,
15-4, I think. Yeah, 15-4. I'm pretty sure.
When he homered and it became a 16-4 baseball game. Tony LaRussa was up in arms about it and was so upset that he even went as far as apologizing to the Minnesota Twins organization after the game.
Then the next day they threw at Yerman Mercedes and he said, "I have no problem with what they did. Like, that's your player. Like, you want to lose the clubhouse? Like, that's the easiest way to do it right there. You're not going to back your own players.
Fucking did it.
Yeah, like he's so out of touch with the game, and like he's so out of touch with his players, which is sad to see. But
it's crazy that no one, like, I think the White Sox organization is I don't think it's a bad organization. I think they do some smart things from time to time, and they've gotten rid of veteran players at the right time, and they've been able to, like, they always have. I mean, I remember when they got rid of Maglio Ordonez, that was a big thing. When they got rid of Frank Thomas, that was a big thing, obviously. But I feel like they always did it at the right time.
Yeah, and they always produce a lot of homegrown talent too.
Of course, and they're not a dumb organization. Yeah. They've got a World Series in the last 20 years. They're a team that's been able to, at least get some type of respect. And they're an organization that I genuinely enjoy watching a lot of their players.
Yeah, me too.
So you have a lot of young guys on that team who are definitely going to be like the Tim Andersons. Jose Abreu's not young, but he's young as far as baseball.
Eloy Jimenez,
major league baseball years. Yeah.
Madrigal.
Yeah, you have, Moncada. Like, you have good players.
A ton of young players. And then their pitchers, they have good young pitchers too. Giolito, Rodon, Kopech.
Yeah, like
a bunch of young guys.
And they have Lance Lynn as well, who is there right now with them. And so they have a team that's definitely going to compete this year. They're competing now. They're one of the best teams in baseball right now.
Yeah, even without Jimenez and Robert, they're still competing.
Yeah, and they have enough talent on that team to compete on a day-to-day basis. So, like, you got a manager. Like, I feel like this right now is showing even more how little the manager is starting to mean to big league clubs. Like, they're winning in spite of the terribleness that's going on with Tony LaRussa right now, and how he doesn't have his teammates. He doesn't have his teams back. He's actually supporting other teams
throwing at
a young player who's producing a lot for you right now.
Yeah.
And you have the balls to say, like, that's okay. Let them fucking hit them. Like, no, like, that's not, like, it's funny that there's guys who get so up in arms about certain shit, but, like, you're okay with a pitcher throwing in the world now where they throw 95 miles per hour easy, and you're okay with him throwing at him. I'm sorry. I find that I never understood why people are okay with that. I don't think I ever will. I'll never understand why that's like an okay thing. Like baseball's the only sport where when a guy talks shit, they're like, you know what, we're gonna hit you with something on the field.
Yeah. That's like at least hockey, they just straight fight. Like they don't not just going to go swing a stick at them. You get suspended forever. But like, so if a pitcher really has that big of a problem, when the dude bat flips and jumps around the bases, go meet him at second base.
Yeah, fight him.
Do something like that. Like why you're going to throw a 100-mile-per-hour fastball at his face? Just go fight him. Meet him at second.
You're a pussy at that point. I'm sorry, you are. You're a pussy. Like you're going to throw a 95-mile-per-hour fastball at some dude's face,
or try breaking his ribs, anything
anything. Yeah, like I remember like back in 2008, I believe it was, when the Phillies were competing for the World Series, and there was an issue with why can't I think of his name for the Dodgers? He was a right-handed pitcher. He's Japanese. He was a Japanese pitcher for the Dodgers at the time. Why can't I think of his name? Shit, I gotta look this up.
I'm drawing a blank too.
Dodgers. Hold on.
Let's think.
Here. Nope. Hiroki Kuroda.
Oh, Kuroda, there we go.
Hiroki Kuroda threw a ball kind of high at Shane Victorino. And Victorino said to him, don't hit me in the head, hit me in the ribs. I mean, it's those things that I'm okay with a pitcher going back at the head. You know what I mean? Where I'm like, don't tell me where to throw the baseball. Like, I'm going to throw it. If you're going to tell me where to throw the baseball, I'm most likely going back at your fucking head. If you're going to tell me not to throw it at your head.
Yeah.
Like, but that's just a pride thing. That's a little bit different. Like, when you're getting hit when a home run's getting hit and a dude bat flips and you're like so butthurt about it that you're going to go as far as hitting him. Like, I've talked about this before. They have some guys only get 400 at bats a year, which is a normal year. That's a normal year for an everyday player.
Yeah.
About 400 bats. So you have 400 at bats and you're going to hit a home run in maybe 30 of them. That's probably the average is about 30 home runs for
a good player. Yeah.
A good player.
At least home run hitter. He
should be more than in his means to be okay. He should be allowed to bat flip and pimp that.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Then as a pitcher, if you're mad at that, then you're never allowed to fist pump. You're never allowed to yell after a strikeout at the end of the inning. Like you can't have it both ways.
No. Pitcher, and I feel like we already are in a league where the pitcher is so protected with a lot of shit. And this is another thing that I've brought up a couple times where say a pitcher, when the pitcher goes after a hitter and hits him. Why can't a hitter go, you know what? Well, you just threw a weapon at me. Why can't I bring my bat to the mound now?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Do what they do to him. I think it was Major League 3 when they were back in the minors, where the dude was like, "Give me the ball, throw the ball right back to me." Like, all right, how about you do that? Hit him, tell your catcher to get the ball, and throw it right back to him. And you know what? And then we'll see who comes out of this.
Yeah.
I'll bring my bat, you bring your fucking ball, and we'll see how this works.
Yep.
And that's the only way that it's fair.
Yeah, and then
the only way it's fair,
especially this day and age, you got pitchers. Like the strikeout rate's 23%, and you're going to get all fired up and scream after a strikeout. That's obviously that easy to do now.
Yeah,
but you're mad at someone for bat flipping. Like it's just a stupid.
You're a jerk off. Yeah. You're a jerk off. If you're that upset about a bat flip, you're a jerk off. Hold on 1 second. Don't man D-Bake. Why is Gabe Kapler having more success in San Francisco than Philly? And do you think it's because of pitching? I mean, I don't know if it's because of pitching. I just think that a lot of it has. Thanks, D-Bake, for chiming in there. I think it has a lot to do with just the culture. Like he's made more for a California life, and the guys in California probably listen to him more than the guys in Philadelphia did. This for anyway, his Philly team was not good.
No, it wasn't.
It was that he had 1 year. What, he had 1 year of Harper.
Yeah, I think both years were Harper.
He had one, and
yeah.
You know what I mean. So he had 1 year with him. He had one season. His first year was a fucking travesty. Like he really never had a actual good team to put together. Like he had Matt Klentak absolutely fucking destroying him.
Yeah, the organization was ran terribly.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what, I mean, it's just now starting to get back. And Gabe Kapler never had the team that Joe Girardi does. He doesn't have that team. Not one bit does he have even close to the talent that Joe Girardi has.
Yep.
So, like, to even say that Joe Girardi, like, and when we saw it last year, Joe Girardi did what did he do better than Gabe Kapler in his first year? Nothing.
No, I mean, we've been very critical of Girardi.
Yeah, we have, and rightfully so.
Yeah, I mean, and the Giants for how long now? Like they've always been ran very well, and they always, I mean, year in and year out, they're pretty much on even years. They always are really good, but like they had a great run, and then it seems like they're getting back to it. And their players like Buster Posey, they're guys from a few years ago are back. Brandon Crawford has 11 home runs. Like, and Longoria is playing well. Like their veterans are playing well. Their pitching staff's been ridiculous.
Yeah,
like,
I mean we talked about it last week. Buster Posey, his numbers are insane right now.
Yeah, I mean, doesn't even make sense.
He's got like a 1.134 or something like that OPS, which is it's definitely not the same those numbers, but like it's close to that. It's like it's absurd that he's hitting the way that he's hitting right now, and continuously playing catcher again too. Like he hasn't been over at first base yet. He has been continuously playing catcher.
Yeah, he maintained a 200 plus WRC or 200 plus WRC plus for a while. I don't know if he's still over it, but he has to be
through. I mean,
he has to be right at it. We're mid May. I mean, but this way, there's been 6 no hitters. We're pretty deep in the season. Not really.
Yeah, I mean, he's got right now in 113 plate appearances. He's got 8 home runs, a 472 WOBA, and a 205 WRC plus. That is a 1.9 F4. Like he's playing very well. He's
playing MVP numbers. Yeah,
and don't forget, he was out all of last year. He took all of last year off, so he got a full year. He got a full year to recover and to have to get his body back to where he was his MVP years and back in MVP shape. Like he's back. You know what I mean? Like, and D-Bay coming again.
Yeah, Gassman. Yeah,
he's dominating.
Their whole pitching staff has been great.
Yeah, there has not been a bad thing about them. I mean, they're getting good starts. They were getting. I'm not sure what they're doing right now. I haven't really seen a Cueto start in a while, but like they were getting good starts at a Cueto for a while. There was like a 3 or 4 start period where Cueto was pretty fucking good.
Yeah, something's in that water out there. All the old guys are coming back. Yeah,
I mean that's impressive. Like that's what's happening right now with them. Like it's starting to look like the San Francisco Giants of the early 2000s again. The early 2010s.
2010s, yeah.
2010s. Like we're starting to see it. We could be seeing Cueto's 3-1 with a 3.34 ERA. Like that's pretty good for where he's been the last couple of years. You know what I mean? Like that's more than what they've expected out of him right now at this point in his career. Like he's been miserable the last 2 seasons. It's just been awful. So now they're finally getting
Alex Wood's been unbelievable.
Alex Wood 5-0, 1.75 ERA. Like their
whole rotation.
They're getting good starts out of their starters. So to answer your question from earlier, it probably is because of pitching, D-Bake. Like that's probably a big reason for it. And along with the veterans that we talked about in their offensive game,
that they definitely couldn't be expecting. They couldn't expect Posey to have a 200 plus WRC plus right now. No reason they would expect Brandon Crawford to have 11 home runs. Like we're playing okay.
It's funny because we all talk about this crazy offseason that's about to happen with shortstops. There's about 4 or 5 shortstops that are going to be out there and all good, including Corey Seager is out there.
Correa's Story.
Trevor Story, Correa. Like, there's a couple good shortstops that are going to be available in this offseason free agency. So you have that going for you, but now you have Brandon Crawford, who's also entering that mix right now. I mean, he's coming up, and he's a little bit old. He's definitely older, but he's always been a consistently solid player for the San Francisco Giants, and he's been. And I don't know. It's nice to see. It's nice to see that they're. I've always liked the Giants. I always pull for like historic teams other than the Yankees. Like they're the I do. I always like the teams who have been around for forever. And it's nice to see the teams. I mean, not that the Giants have been around for forever, but like they're just one of those franchises. You know what I mean? Like it's like, kind of like how the New York from the New York Giants to the San Francisco Giants. They've always they're just those teams that like you enjoy seeing, and
a lot of legendary players, a lot of primetime games growing up watching them, and just like I agree with you.
Here's a little fact for you guys. I don't know if anyone knows this, but did you know that the reason the Mets are the way that they are, like their color scheme and everything? Do you know why?
Because no, not at all. I don't even know what I would guess.
When they made the New York Metropolitans, they took the color schemes of the Brooklyn Dodgers and the San Francisco and the New York Giants. That's why the New York Mets hats are the New York Giants old logo. So they mashed them to make one fucking whatchamacallit, to make one look, if you will.
That makes sense.
Yeah, so like when that's a little tidbit for you. I found that out like probably 2 years ago.
Yeah, I never knew that.
And I thought it was pretty cool that that's what their thought process was for the New York Mets. But yeah, I mean there's just been a lot going on with that. Like so like it's just crazy that teams like that are, we're starting to see a lot of surprises there. No one expected the Giants to be where they're at right now. Like obviously they competed last year.
In that division,
that division is tough. Like it's got the team that's going to be that is the best team in baseball.
Yeah,
they haven't really been playing like the best team in baseball, but they're playing like they're still fucking the fucking Dodgers. So they
they have a ton of injuries and stuff. They haven't really had
Trevor May's a big one, dude. That is a big injury.
Dustin May, yeah.
Dustin May, I'm sorry. What did I say? Trevor May?
Trevor May, yeah. Fucking Mets.
The Mets, yeah.
He was a baby ace back in the Phillies farm system.
I got the Mets on the brain right now.
Yeah.
But
yeah, it was.
Yeah, Dustin May's a huge injury for them, and there's just it's a shame. And speaking of injuries, there is one out in LA right now that is pretty fucking big. And it's Mike Trout. Mike Trout is out for 2 months right now. That is a huge hit for a team that they thought were going to have some type of promise. I don't know why anyone thought they were going to have promise, because they still didn't do what they were supposed to do and get starting pitching.
They still don't pitching, yeah.
But like Mike Trout was probably having one of the best years I've ever seen.
And the surge that Ohtani's on right now, it's a shame that you didn't get to see them throughout the whole season, throughout the hot days in summer, and it does suck. It's bad for baseball.
I mean, we're not going to see him until what month are we in now? We're in May.
Middle of May, yeah.
We're going to see him probably after. It's going to be after the All-Star break. We're not going to see him until he's going to miss the All-Star game, which is a huge deal for baseball. Him not being at the All-Star game is huge. They need him. And then, this is going to be probably one of the better All-Star games there's been in a while. It's in Colorado. We're going to see a great home run derby. I don't care who the fuck's in it. You're going to see balls being launched out.
Let them use aluminum bats. And 635-foot home runs.
This is the thing. If they use aluminum bats, they will not be allowed to have fans because they might kill somebody.
Yeah.
The ball's already coming off their bats at 103 miles per hour off a wooden bat. It will come off 150 miles per hour. It will come off like a fucking rocket.
Yeah, the baseball probably wouldn't be able to handle it.
No, they'll break seats. It's that intense. But Mike Trout's gonna be missing a lot of things in the next couple months, and it looks like the Angels are just going to miss the fucking playoffs again.
Yeah,
like I don't know
what fourth. I think they're in fourth right now.
Yeah, they went from being, I think they were in first for a little bit in the West, for a little bit in the beginning of the season, and then they fell off a fucking cliff again because they don't have the pitching to handle it. I mean, they have Dylan Bundy. Like, cool.
I mean, he was good. What was last year? He had a really good season, or was the year before?
I think it was last year. He had a solid season in the shortened season. He had a good year.
Fucking still Dylan Bundy, like, stinks.
He used to be
he was such a high prospect for the Orioles.
I remember when he got drafted by the Orioles, and that was a huge deal.
Yeah, I used to always pick him in the show. Like, you want to do fantasy draft when he was like 21 years old, I'd always pick him.
Yeah,
he was a stud.
He was and he always had like the top prospect thing next to him. Where they had do you think Ohtani can keep his great play going with Trout out? I mean, I don't see why he can't.
Yeah, I think so.
I don't see I've definitely realized over the last couple seasons that, like, you know, when people are like, he needs to hit in front of him for him to be better. I've noticed, especially if you look back throughout the years, that's something that doesn't really isn't really effective. Like, that doesn't really do anything. Like, when people say that like he's hitting good because he's hitting in front of him, that's actually not even a real thing.
Yeah.
Like, and I didn't know, and analytically that's not a real thing. Like, I remember back in the day I used to think like
protection was big. Yeah.
Protection was big but then if you look back, like, I remember the one person who I used to say it about was Jason Worth. And I used to think that Jason Worth was only good because he had the protection of Ryan Howard hitting fourth, and he hit fifth. The more you look at it, and the more I've looked at it, I've noticed that 100% didn't, because like you can actually go back and look at like their fastball percentages. Like, dude, he
was getting the same pitches.
Dude, Ryan Howard actually the 1 year got a higher fastball percentage rate than what Jason Worth did.
I can't believe anyone throw Ryan Howard a fastball.
And it's crazy that more people, they threw it more to Ryan Howard than they did to Jason Worth. And I was for years sitting there like, oh, like that's the only reason why that happens. Like, that's the only reason why he's successful. No, like, I didn't give Jason Worth enough credit. Jason Worth was actually a really good hitter, but he didn't get any credit. He didn't get any credit for it by me. I used to just fucking blast him.
Yeah, he went to Washington and did the same shit. He was really good there.
But then people again said it had a lot to do with like Ryan Zimmerman or guys like that. Like, I mean, but it didn't have anything to do. He was actually just a very, very good hitter.
The only thing that it kind of, I guess, inflates, like, I don't think it inflates like average or like any of the analytical stats. But like runs, RBIs and stuff like that, obviously you're going to have more of those in a better lineup. But like your analytical numbers really, I don't think they'll change.
No.
Like Ohtani's still going to be Ohtani.
No, you are who you are. You know what I mean? Like, and Ohtani has shown this before.
Yeah, but I mean, when he's healthy, he
just couldn't stay healthy, and I think that was like a big deal because, I mean, we're fine. Like, he's always wanted to do double duty, and I get that. I 100% understand that. Like, why wouldn't you want to do double duty if you could? And the fact that he is as good as he is, him not doing double duty wouldn't make much sense. So like, but now that he's doing it and he's doing it successfully, people are like, oh, like, keep going. But like, I'm still not sold that he can do this and keep himself healthy. And I don't want to be that guy, but like, there's definitely something to that.
Yeah, and I don't think he's ever going to be that pitcher that is going to give you 100 pitches consistently. Like, I don't think he's going to, like, yeah, he'll be able to do 3-4 inning spurts, but I don't think he's going to be a starting pitcher that can go 6-7 innings on a consistent basis. I don't think he can train enough and do the bullpens and do everything you need to stretch and all that while maintaining like everything he has to do on the offensive side and stay consistent with that. And like what he's doing right now, he's throwing 3 innings at a time, 4 innings at a time. Like, yeah, that's probably sustainable, but I don't think there's a next level. I don't think he's going to be going 7 innings.
No. And I think it's kind of crazy that he's going from, and listen, this is just the new analytical way of playing baseball. I think it's crazy that they've had him throw, 70 pitches in a game and then put him in the outfield. Yeah, and then play right field. And I get, guys back in the day used to do that, but like guys back in the day didn't have the contracts that these guys have. They weren't the teams weren't invested nearly as much into them as they are now. So like when people say like this league is soft, no, there's a lot more money involved in this league than there ever was. So like, don't think that it's because of softness. It's because like, would you want your investment being put out there and being strained? No, you don't want that. It's not soft. It's just it's normal.
Yeah, everything is so hyper focused on specific things now that it's like you could do both ways back then, but people also weren't throwing 95-mile-per-hour splitters. They weren't throwing 101-mile-per-hour fastballs and then going batting third. Like that wasn't the type of shit they were doing.
I mean, you got Chris here. He did that in 8th grade. He don't understand why it's such a big deal. I mean, yeah, I hear you, Chris. I don't think it's that big of a deal either that you did that in 8th grade.
Yeah, well, weren't that many prospects like Chris Lahiff back in the day either. So.
Yeah, he was the the Ohtani of the Northeast. You know what I mean? And he's got his kid out there now playing, left field, third base. He doesn't even know where the fuck he wants him to play. He's just just out here running circles around kids.
Just a ball player.
Yeah, he's the Irish Ohtani. That's what he is. But like, it's so different now. Like people got to stop focusing so much on, people do got. I mean, they got to stop focusing so much on like how soft players are. But they got to realize that like there's a lot of money invested in these fucking guys. You know what I mean? So it's like they have to realize that that's a huge deal. Like you have $100 million invested in somebody. You should probably pump the brakes on criticizing them for taking precautions with them and not wanting to stretch them out so much. And exactly, I think you're going to end up seeing Ohtani being stretched way too thin.
I think so too.
That's something that I fear. That is definitely something I fear, is that they're going to stretch him too thin again. Like he's dealt with injuries. He has. The last 2 seasons he's dealt with injuries, and pretty big ones. So it's like, I'm not sure. Like I get the 3 innings now, and 3-4 innings, and I think they've realized that they can't do what they wanted him to do. Like, but it sucked back when they were doing like trying to get him to go longer games, because then he'd be off for a couple days. And he won't even play the field the next day.
Yeah, it's definitely it's a fine line. Like he has to be the DH. Like you can't have him out there in the outfield throwing. Like even like every one of those throws, like the long tosses, like in between innings, like that's detrimental if you're a pitcher, if you're trying to recover. Not to mention like, is it beneficial to them to have him pitch 3 innings? Like, is that it's going to tax their bullpen? Like, what's the end all for them? What's the game plan? Are they hoping that by the end of the season he is throwing consistently 6 innings? Because like if not, then you're really doing like an opener thing with them, which works sometimes. I get it, but do they have the bullpen for it? No, they don't.
And I mean, I know that a lot of times they like to put him in the DH role. He's the DH is what they are going to have him do. But the days that he pitches, they don't. I mean, you're pretty much forgoing the DH role. Like you're getting rid of the DH at that point.
Yeah,
and which is fine. But when he's only pitching 4 innings, I mean,
you turn into an NL team fast.
Very fast. You are an NL team, and Joe Maddon's a good manager. I always enjoy the way he was a big pioneer in like the Tampa Bay Rays organization and getting them on the right track of where they're at now. And Kevin Cash has obviously taken over and has gotten them to where they are. But like when you have a guy like that, like a Joe Maddon, who I think Joe Maddon's a perfect guy for Ohtani. I think he's the perfect type of guy for Ohtani, where he is analytically driven and he's not going to. He's also got an old school mindset, but he knows nail baseball. He is okay. He is completely okay with how baseball is run today. Yeah, he comes from a great line of coaching with Mike Scioscia. You know what I mean? So he's a good. I've always liked him, and I think that he's going to be good for him.
Yeah, I mean, he's going to explore all the options. He's going to be smart about it. He's not just going to be like. He's not just going to pick one thing and just expect that to work. He's going to adjust and do everything he can, like, to do good by Ohtani, which is what he needs. If not, then he's going to wind up getting hurt again. And if he, God forbid, he tears his UCL and he's Tommy John again, like that's like you've been talking about.
That's it.
Yeah, these players are so highly invested in, and that'll be such like you pretty much have to chalk up his pitching career at that point.
100%. His pitching career is over at that
Yeah,
point.
because then it's like they tried it twice, and both times he wound up missing a full season or more.
Or I mean, when people come from Japan, I don't think people realize the difference in the game. Because there's been success stories, but more often than not, those success stories are very short. Yeah. I mean, Hideo Nomo was phenomenal back in the day, but he didn't last very long here. Daisuke Matsuzaka had 2 seasons where I can even remotely say we're good. It was his rookie year in 07. 08, he was solid. And then he was terrible.
Injuries, hurt, injuries, everything.
And that there's been probably Masahiro Tanaka was probably like the anomaly, and he's been like the only one who was able to really sustain success for a longer period of time at least. But like even he really fell off at one point, so much that he now is playing back in Japan. Like he stopped playing Major League Baseball, and he probably could have played somewhere. I'm sure he got many contract offers from big league teams, but 100%. But he wasn't the same guy anymore. There's a lot of they tax a lot of like the body takes on a lot in the big leagues as far as pitching is concerned. So expecting them to do both, players to go both ways. I mean, it doesn't always work. I mean, Brendan McKay for the the Tampa Bay Rays, we haven't seen him in what?
Yeah, he keeps being a top prospect, but
they
don't know what the fuck they're doing
because they don't know if they want him to hit or they want him to pitch because they don't want the same shit to happen to him.
Yep.
I mean, it's something that really needs to be talked about. But
it's a tough situation. It's a fine line you have to deal with. So
of course it is.
I wish him the best. Obviously, you don't want to see him get hurt. That'd be terrible for baseball. They already got Trout out for 2 months. They definitely can't afford to lose him right now.
No, they definitely can't. But I'm going to pause right here. And anyone who's watching on YouTube, on Facebook, on I think it's Twitter is the other one that we have it on here as well. So like anyone who's watching on there, I'm going to play a little intro for all the different Buzz Live shows that we have going on.
War. Tell them that's what we ready for. War. Tell them that's what we ready for. War. Bringing that to competitors. Till we see the confetti fall, be ready for war. Tell them that's what we ready for. War. Tell them that's what we ready for. War. Bringing that to competitors. Till we see the confetti fall, be ready for war. Tell them I'm ready, any opponent. The crown heavy and every minute it's chosen. A path only fit for kings, and you don't know what this court means. What did you enlist for? If it isn't getting more rings, then you gon' have to switch your team. Trust me, it gets more mean. I'm a nightmare going up against your dreams. First step is explosive like a bomb hit. Bet if I let it fly, I cannot miss. And you ain't got a chance at the top 10 when you getting clamped all night by a locksmith. On the block throwing lobs to my top bigs. I'm a chef, no look, what's the top dish? Tie game, through the pressure as the clock ticks. Crossover, step back, hit a shot quick.
That's all that Buzz got going on from Monday or Sunday to Sunday. We got a ton of stuff going on here as far as articles. Go on their Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. You'll see everything we have from, baseball articles to football articles to, there's just so much going on. Please go over there, check out everything they got out. A bunch of good guys just trying to get as much sports and different other stuff like hockey. There's everything. They literally have everything. They literally have what you need. Also, while we're pausing, let me tell you about the fastest growing construction company in the tri-state area. That's Garrett Group Construction. GGC is available to service all of your construction needs. They specialize in gut rehabs, basements, bathrooms, and kitchens. Choose Garrett Group Construction. That's a mouthful sometimes.
It is.
The official sponsor of the Frozen Road podcast. Call today for a free estimate, 267-262-1660. Once again, that is 267-262-1660. There is no job too big or too small. Shout out Joey Garrett. Thank you for all you do. And also, I never met him, but I do want to give a little shout out to Joey. He's going through a lot right now with his passing of his father. I do want to send my condolences to him and his family, and for all he does for everybody. He is just a phenomenal guy, and just please keep his family in your prayers.
Absolutely.
So other things that we did want to discuss. Manny Machado. I've said numerous times how big of a piece of shit he is.
Yeah.
And he proved it again. He did once again with another fucking shit slide. And he just thinks he says it's the right way it was the right baseball play.
Yeah.
You're a dick.
Technically legal and stuff. Like I get it. But when you have that reputation and you just constantly continuously do these bullshit plays, like it's more to it than I didn't want to get a double play. Like obviously you know what you're doing. He's had probably close to 10 incidents since he's been in the league where obviously he's a piece of shit on the baseball field, and he's like cocky and doesn't think like anything's going to happen to him.
I mean, he ended my favorite player of all time's career. It took a couple years for him to finally hang it up, but he ended my fucking favorite player's career in Dustin Pedroia.
Yeah,
and it's don't get me wrong, I'm not somebody who's like, oh, like he's got like play the right way. Like there's a way of doing takeout slides, and then there's a way of being a complete fucking dirtbag.
Yeah.
And that's what he does.
Spikes up, arms up. He does everything.
He does dirtbag shit. And I'm just extremely tired of seeing it. I'm tired of seeing his name constantly being a part of it. Like and it's more he doesn't give a fuck that he's doing
exactly. Yeah. It's like there's no repercussions. He thinks that nothing he ever does is wrong, but like he knows it's wrong. He just doesn't give a shit that like I think he kicked Jesus Aguilar's foot at first base when Aguilar was with the Brewers. Like
yes,
that was Machado.
Yeah.
I think this was a while ago, but Josh Donaldson tug him out at third base, and like as Machado was falling, he threw his helmet at Donaldson. Like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, it's just consistent bullshit. He fought Yordano Ventura before. Like, it's just a bunch of bullshit.
It's the rest in peace to Yordano Ventura.
Yeah, rest in peace. He's one of my favorite pitchers.
Sad. It's sad that there was a lot of promise there with the Royals, but I'm sorry. Going back to Manny Machado, it's just the consistency of his bullshit too.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's like, why? It's kind of like how when Terry Francona said to
Angel.
Yeah. Why is it always you? Why is it always when you're here doing it? And this is what happens. Like
exactly.
Like Tommy Edman's a good young player.
Yep.
For the Cardinals. Like he's young, and you're doing these fucking crazy, questionable takeout slides. Like spike up, not giving a fuck. Like relax. Like
yeah, I mean, if that's Tatis, that makes that play, and he was just like, I'm sorry. And like again, Machado could have handled it different. He could have been like, "I happened fast," and like that's on me. Like that's my bad. Totally different. Yeah. But he's just a piece of shit about everything. Like he could have easily been like, "I know I have a bad reputation. Like I really just didn't mean that. Happened quick. Like I didn't know what to do. I tried ducking, but it was too late. Like there's ways to go about it as well, and he just doesn't do that. He just has that spoiled, I don't give a fuck attitude about everything.
No, and it's because he's been a fucking stud his entire career, his entire life, as far as baseball is concerned. So things have been just given to him. I mean, he was a part of a great high school baseball powerhouse in Florida. Then he went to the pros with the Orioles, and he's just been this cocky asshole. And like, listen, and I'm a fan of his. I've always been a fan of it. I always thought that he was. I mean, he's definitely not, but like I always thought he was the next Alex Rodriguez. Yeah, he had the talent, the
shortstop,
of Alex,
the size, third base, everything. Like the swagger,
he had that. He had that. Yeah, he had the talent of an Alex Rodriguez, and I always saw that where he was like you said, he was a shortstop, third baseman. You know, no one really knew where he was going to officially play. It was just they knew he was going to be really good wherever they put him.
Yeah. He's like too big to play shortstop, but also could handle it. Like,
yeah. And he has a strong arm, really good. He has a solid glove. Like, but he's always been a good hitter. Like, I wish like he's the type of guy you want to root for.
But it's so hard to, yeah.
But he makes it extremely difficult on a night in, night out basis. Like, and it's really starting to get annoying that's where he is.
Yeah, and even when he popped up and he didn't run out to play it whatsoever, and they asked him about it after the game. He said, "I'm not going to be that Johnny Hustle guy that busted down to first base at like you just answer the questions better at least." Like,
just say, you know what, I'll take that. Even if he said like, I'll take it into consideration.
To anything, just like
as big of a dickhead response as that is,
yeah, but okay straight up admitting to like, this is not who I am. Like, I'm not going to hustle. Like, that's just crazy to say.
I'm too good to hustle.
I feel like the Harper gets the same hate and the same like picture around him. Like, he's a spoiled. Like, he gets that same connotations that Machado gets for no reason.
And
like,
they're literally
Machado deserves
polar opposites.
Exactly. Machado deserves it. Harper doesn't do shit, and they're like, I feel like they're both viewed the same way from like the public baseball eye.
They're both viewed as cocky people.
Yeah,
like, and I don't know wrong. I'm sure, he could come off as cocky, Harper, and he probably does to a lot of people. I mean, you see it. There's definitely days when you look at him and you're like, all right, like, yeah, like, but like, and he's got like, he does the whole hair thing, and like everyone thought he was just like a pompous jerk off, but like. Now that he's in Philly, I feel like a lot of people in Philly are started like really turned and been like, maybe he wasn't always an asshole. Maybe we're just taking pretty much the media's word for it, like we always do.
Yep.
And everyone saw how big that, like, and we talked about this before about like his persona when he was younger, that unfortunately got taken to when he is now a 28-year-old, and like it's wrong. Yeah. But like Machado is a piece of shit constantly, and I feel like
he hasn't changed whatsoever.
No, and I mean, it is what it is, but like it's just kind of ridiculous that nothing gets more said about it. Like, he needs to constantly be called a piece of shit every time he goes. Like, I want people when he goes on ESPN, I want them to call him a dirty player. Like, I want that to be. And I'm not somebody who is like, I'm not a cancel guy. I really don't give a shit. But like, that's not good for baseball. Taking out players is not good for baseball. It's not.
Yep. That's the type of shit that a pitcher is going to throw at you for. Like, that's the type of shit I'm okay with. You're going to spike my shortstop, then I'm going to throw at you. Like, you're trying to hurt my players. Like, pimping a home run, completely different story. But if you're intentionally trying to break, like, potentially break my infielder's leg, then yeah, I might throw one at your ribs. But
yeah, you're probably getting something coming to you.
Yeah, that's different. That's where I stand on like the throwing at a batter. Typically, you would never want to see it, but if you're out there running the bases, trying to spike people, trying to fuck them up, like, then yeah, you might get a fastball to the ribs.
Yeah, yeah.
I think that's a big difference.
Of course it is. And you know what? That's all I want to talk about that jerk off about. I just want to bring it to light that he is a jerk off and he needs to be exposed more for it.
Absolutely.
Before I get to my last point, I do want to bring up that Pujols did signing with the Dodgers. Kind of a shock. I don't think either of us saw him go into a National League team.
Nope.
And especially because
not so fast.
Yeah, and especially, and if he did go to a National League team, I don't think any of us thought it was going to be the Dodgers. No. Especially because all he kept talking about is, from what we heard, the reason why he wanted out of the Angels is to get regular playing time.
Yep.
And I mean, he's played for the Dodgers.
Yeah, but so they have a lot of injuries right now too. So
yeah, so like right now he's taking advantage of the fact that there is injuries there. But like, I mean, I'm kind of just shocked that he is a Dodger. I didn't really. I thought he was going to. I gave you my 3 teams last week that I thought he could go to. I mean, number one was. I mean, we all thought he was going to go to the Cardinals. I think the Cardinals was like the number one for a lot of people.
Yeah, and if there was an NL, I thought they would be the only NL team that was even a possibility was the Cardinals.
Yeah, I think the White Sox was a team that a lot of people said because of
LaRussa.
Yeah, and the whole LaRussa thing. And there's a lot of the Hispanic players, the young Hispanic players that he could take under his wing. You know what I mean? Which we've seen him do a lot with.
Yeah, and with the injuries to Jimenez and Robert too, like there's that right-handed bat could definitely be used there. So that would have made sense big time.
And then we have then I brought up the Royals was another team, again, another young team with, a lot of possibilities there. I mean,
Matheny.
Yeah, with Matheny being the main reason why, but also the DH. There's a young team that he could definitely come in and help. Adalberto Mondesi is a player that, Raul Mondesi is, I think they're Dominican descent. Like that's his dad. Who knows Pujols? Yeah. So that was a team that I thought that he maybe like there would be something there because of that. But I mean, it ended up being the Dodgers just gobbling up another player. Like they just stay stacked. It's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, but like, what happens when Seager comes back? What happens when Bellinger comes back? Like, where does he fit? Because you can't. Are you going to just not play Gavin Lux at second, and you're going to keep Monty at second and just give Pujols regular at bats? Like, I don't see that happening. Like they need to let Gavin Lux develop. Obviously,
100%.
Like he's taking advantage of it now, but 2 months from now, or when the playoffs come around, I can't see Pujols in that lineup.
No, me neither. And I think maybe what's going on right now, what could be going on, I mean, could the Dodgers kind of just be like
a rental?
Yeah, where he's just
prove yourself.
Kind of like a prove yourself until maybe like All-Star break, and then when everyone starts coming back, we'll see if we can maybe flip him for something.
Yeah, why not? I mean, they have nothing to lose. Obviously, they have enough.
Yeah,
to win regardless. They don't.
There's enough. Yeah, there's enough talent there that.
Yeah.
Pujols was kind of like just a throw in, I guess, to like maybe sell some tickets, but like, I mean, he's wearing number 55, which I thought was weird.
Yeah, he's not going to sell a ton of jerseys, but like, a Pujols Dodgers jersey, a lot of people are going to buy that. Like, that's a decent thing to have.
Yeah, I mean,
why not?
I don't know. Like I saw this like on MLB Network, they were doing like a bunch of like a montage of people who you probably didn't realize were ever Dodgers, and there are people that you might have forgot were Dodgers. One guy that I definitely forgot was a Dodger was Jim Thome.
Yeah,
I completely forgot that he played for the Dodgers.
It is weird thinking like players like that.
Yeah, it was like him. I saw. Who else? That Ricky Henderson was a Dodger. Well, Ricky Henderson's played for like 12 teams.
Yeah, 43 teams. Yeah.
Yeah, it's him and Edwin Jackson, I think, are tied for the most teams. Or Edwin Jackson might have one more team now.
I think Edwin Jackson has the most. Not, he might get signed down the stretch this year too. You never know. He's been on MLB Network a couple times saying he's in shape. He's ready to go. So we'll see. Why not? He threw a no hitter before, but fucking eight walks or 9 walks.
Yeah, he threw like 154 pitches or something.
Yeah, something like that.
It was like some wild number.
I think he had 9 walks or 8 walks.
Yeah, they had to like. I think he had to miss like his next start because of how many pitches he threw.
Yeah, he threw 2 games.
Yeah, exactly. He pretty much threw 2 games, especially at his age. Like he wasn't like he's some like young guy. Like
yeah,
but like he's another one who just kept going. But my last thing that I wanted to talk about was the A's. We were on. I completely forgot about this, and I went on with you. I texted you right after the show was over, and I was like, "Fuck!" I wanted to talk about this. So the A's have officially brought up that they are in the market to move. I mean, just like everybody else in the world, they are trying to sell and move. They are trying to just get out and go somewhere else. There's a couple teams. There's a couple areas I'm sure that are spots that people are going to be looking at. The number one destination that I think, and we've talked about this off the air, that I think they should go to, is Nashville.
Yeah, I'm 100% on board with that. I think that would be great.
I think Nashville would be fantastic. A fantastic place to get. Like they have a minor league team there now, and their minor league team has sold out like every game that they've had since like 2016 or something.
Nashville
like that.
Sounds, yeah. I think they're Texas now. I think they're the Rangers now.
Yeah,
They used to be maybe like the Brewers. I think they were the Braves too at some point.
yeah.
I know,
So like,
I know the Rangers have their rights now, but yeah, they sell out every game.
baseball has won it there. It's definitely won it there. I mean, there was talks about a team, just an expansion team becoming there, even before the A's were talked about. Coming into this like last like off season, but before it was actually, I mean, I've talked to you about this, but Dave Dombrowski, the president of the Phillies, he was in charge of this push for a Nashville team. He actually, I don't know if you've ever seen this, but in his office at his house, right after he accepted the job for the Phillies, he was on MLB Network, and behind him was a Nashville baseball jersey.
Interesting.
Like this is something that he's wanted. So I mean, if the possibilities of them moving is a thing, I'm wondering if he would try to get on board there and try to invest in whatever they're doing. I know Justin Timberlake was a part of that group. I believe Billy Beane had something to do with it too, which I mean would kind of make sense because Billy Beane said he was possibly trying to buy a team. He wanted to do something with a team. His Oakland A's.
Now he gets to move. Yeah,
now he gets to move
perfect.
His team there that he built. Like he can move that team there. I don't think I'm not even sure if there's another area that I would even consider. I want it like Nashville right now.
Just the whole Nashville vibe. Like obviously, it's such a big tourist spot, and it's for the most part beautiful weather. Like that's a great thing to have in Major League Baseball stadium. Or I don't know what. Like I'm assuming they would build a new stadium. They have to.
They'd have to.
Yeah, and like they could put it right on Broadway. Like that'll be like. If I go to Nashville again, I've been there before. I would 100% stop at the game, like at the fucking the Nashville A's. Like I would. There's no doubt about it. I might just go just for them and just hang out in Nashville after that. Like
the one thing I hope they don't do is they name them something stupid.
Yeah,
like the Music City fucking I don't know, like something stupid like that. Like I hope they don't do something dumb like that. But like. Knowing Major League Baseball, they will.
Yeah,
they'll name them.
They'll try pushing for something stupid.
They'll be like the Nashville Guitars or something like that, and everyone will fucking hate it.
Yeah, the Nashville Notes.
Yeah. Oh my god.
There's to be a fucking music note. Is there?
Be a music note? Oh, that'd be awful. That'd be terrible. Or like I can already see it. There's going to be a guitar somewhere in their fucking
1,000,000%.
Yeah, like and it's stupid, and I'm not sure how much I'm for that, but like. I kind of want to nip that now. That if it ever goes to Nashville, nah.
Yeah, leave the guitar, leave the cowboy hat out of it.
No, make this just a baseball team about baseball.
Yeah,
like or they're gonna try to like make the bat look like a guitar.
100%. Yeah,
you know, like listen, if I'm already marketing for this team. I should pretty much just be a part of it. But yeah, I just don't see another real destination. I mean, Vegas.
Yeah, Vegas is always an option for any. I mean, they got hockey, football now, so
yeah. And I'm almost positive. I'm actually 1,000% positive. If they were to move to Vegas, Bryce Harper would be furious that he signed with the Phillies for as long as he did.
Yep, he'd be demanding the trade. He would take Stott with him, fucking everybody.
Chris Bryant
will be there. Yeah,
3 Vegas kids just absolutely dominating. Yep. I just don't like. That's the only other probably area that I would even remotely think would be.
Yeah, and then I think I've seen Montreal get a team back, but fuck that.
I'm okay with Montreal right now. I mean, there's a reason why they moved out of Olympic Stadium. Yeah. Olympic Stadium was a fucking travesty. Maybe if they I know that Montreal is like desperately wanting a team back.
Yeah.
There was a big turnout for there was a Toronto Blue Jays game that was there a couple years ago, and I remember there was a huge turnout there. But like, I don't know. I think I'm okay with Montreal right now getting a team. I don't think it's necessary. I think the Toronto Blue Jays who aren't even playing in Toronto right now, and they're playing in Buffalo. I think right now they actually moved.
They're playing it. They're playing.
Are they still playing? Are they still playing in Dundon? They're
still
playing in Dundon. I know their plan is to eventually move to Buffalo.
Yeah, it makes more sense for their fucking fan base.
Yeah, because it's right there.
They can
Even
go
though,
to games.
yeah. So like, but as things are opening up, I'm hoping that they get back to the Rogers Center. I don't know why. I always liked games at there. I always liked
Yeah,
watching
it's
games at the
awesome. It's
Rogers
different.
Center.
It's so different than any
Yeah.
other stadium.
There's like hotels. There's like a
Yeah,
hotel
pretty
in the
much.
center
Yeah,
field.
it's like you're playing fucking halfies against a wall. Like you're just hitting baseballs off the fucking hotel rooms.
Yeah, so like I'm hoping to see them go back to Toronto soon because I mean Toronto I feel like has been closed for far too long. They're really not letting people out of this. They're not letting anybody. I don't think they're still letting people from America in. It's been a while, so like it needs to open up. They need to. I'm hoping to see a Toronto Blue Jays game in Toronto at the Rogers Center very, very soon.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. So we're both on the same page with that. 100% Nashville. Just don't change the name too much. If you're going to change it at all, don't make it ridiculous. Yeah. If you're going to do something musical, you have to be fucking clever and it has to be good. It can't be no lazy bullshit. Yeah. And then if there is an expansion, then then you give fucking Vegas and Montreal a team at the same time, and then we rock and roll with 32 teams.
Yeah, I mean, or we can go with the Louisiana Balloons.
Louisiana Balloons, not a bad team.
No, that's so I don't know if you ever do you listen to any of Barstool's baseball podcasts like Section 10 or
I have not, but I have no idea who the fucking Louisiana Balloons are.
So Section 10 is a Red Sox podcast, and it's Jared Carrabis, Steve Perrault, and Coley Mick, and they were talking one day, and I think it was Coley who said, if the Yankees were the fucking Louisiana Balloons, no one would give a shit about them. But it's because of the New York Yankees. And at that moment, they all looked at each other and went, that's our next T-shirt.
Yeah.
So not only does it say Louisiana Balloons, it also has Babe Ruth.
Babe Ruth
it says Ruth number 3 on the back. So they're just pretty much just showing that, like, if they were the Louisiana Balloons,
if they weren't a brand, the New York Yankee brand,
no one would give a fuck. But it's because they are the New York Yankees that people are like, oh, we have to, if they're struggling, we all have to talk about it. Like,
yeah.
And at the time they were struggling. Now they're winning again. But at the time, that's where the Louisiana Balloons comes into play. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, that's all I got for episode 17 here. Do you have anything else, Dan?
No, not really. Not that I could think of.
So we will wrap this one up. Thank you for everyone who listened. I mean, right now there's no one listening, but we did have a ton of people. We did have a lot of people listening throughout the day, like throughout this whole time. I think we got as high as like 8 people listening, which is not crazy, but it is what it is. We're slowly building here. Thanks for everyone who commented in the comments section and all. If you want to check this podcast out, if you don't have Facebook or anything, we are on Apple Podcasts. We are on Spotify. Go on there, type in the Frozen Road Podcast. You will see us. You will know exactly which one it is. But other than that, I got nothing. Dan, thanks for another great night. Another great night of baseball talk. And we are.